Don't do any of these things if you're trying to increase your credit scores immediately. Instead, do this one thing. Let's first talk about the three things you should not be doing. One of the things which is very common is that once you see, say, a collection in your credit report, and maybe you were not even aware of this, the first instinct is to go off and pay off that collection. Don't do that. When you do that, your collection is marked as recently paid, and that sometimes can actually worsen your credit score. So, what should you do if you have a collection? One, all medical collections are now automatically deleted once paid, and all unpaid medical collections under $500 won't be reported to credit report. So, that's a great news, right? Two, if the collection is past the statute of limitation, for instance, in California, that's 4 years, you can get collection removed through what is called a debt validation process. Three, if that none of those apply to you and if you still have a valid collection, what you should do is instead of paying off the collection, you should call the collection agency and negotiate for that collection or the debt to be deleted instead of being marked as paid. And it's not that hard. It may sound as if that negotiation is going to be very hard, but understand that the collection agency just wants the money. They are not so bothered about the fact whether you want it deleted or paid, but for you it's really important because if you just mark it paid, you will still have all that collection bad credit history on your credit report. And worse, a recent payment on that can even mark that account as recent, even though that the last missed payment could have been 6 months or 12 months back. So make that call to the collection agency and tell them that, hey, I'm willing to pay this off. You can even negotiate like half the payment, but say, I want a letter that when I pay this off, you will report it to the bureaus as deleted and not just paid. If you have that letter, and even if they don't mark it as deleted, we can help you if you're applying, of course, at InstaMortgage. We can help you get that deleted if you have that letter. The second thing is do not close any old accounts, even if it's very, very old, and even if you have not been using it for a couple of months. The old accounts are actually worth its weight in gold. Sometimes people think that when they, for the first time, got their credit card and it only has a very small credit limit, and now you have other credit cards with higher limit, that you don't need that credit card. Be very careful because the older the credit card, and if you have been timely on the payments on those, they really collect some really, really good brownie points for the credit score. So do not close your old accounts or even installment accounts. If you have, say, an auto account, auto loan account that's open, don't think paying that off will actually increase your rate. In fact, in both the cases, increase your score. In fact, in both the cases, you might have worsened your credit score. And the third thing is do not open a new account. That's one thing that we always hear is that, oh, you don't have too many accounts, go open a new account, and don't do that. While it might have a positive impact on your credit score in the medium to long run if you make timely payments on it, in the short term, it will show as a new inquiry on your credit report, as a new debt inquiry, which does lower your credit score. So don't do those three things. And even if you do it, especially the collection, do it the way that I just guided you to do it. The one thing that you can do to immediately improve your credit score is to pay down or pay off your credit card balance. The lower you are on the credit limit usage, the higher your credit score will be. So say if you have a $2,000 credit card limit and you have utilized, say, $1,200. So you are at 60% utilization. If you bring that down to 30%, and ideally to 0%, I'm not saying close the credit card, do not do that, I told you already, but if you can bring down the usage by paying off $1,000 or $1,200, you could immediately see a bump in your credit score, sometimes by as much as 20 to 60 points, depending on the other factors on your credit report. So paying down your credit card balances all the way down to as close to zero is a surefire, guaranteed way of increasing your credit score almost immediately. And we at InstaMortgage help our clients with what is called re-scoring. So when you make these changes or when you pay down your credit card, you don't have to wait for 30 days or 60 days that the bureaus take for them to push up your score. We can get it done sometimes in as fast in 7 days. So hopefully those tips help. And when you are in need of pushing up that credit score just a little bit or even by a lot, because that will help you qualify for a mortgage or help you qualify for a better interest rate, this is what you should be doing, and do not do those three things that I mentioned before.